In today's session of Divorce Court, Barry's heart skipped a beat the first time he saw Laya, and when she said yes to his marriage proposal, his dream came true. But now, after only a year, Laya says she wants a divorce because she never loved Barry.
I mean, Your Honor, look at us. We're two different people.
True.
He's 5'1", I'm 5'9". I have a pride thing going on here,
and there's
okay?
another cheap shot.
It's like Sonny and Cher. Did they make it? No.
I fell in love with this woman, and I love her still. I love her as we speak right now.
Now Laya Arons and Barry Arons come face to face in today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Laya Arons and Barry Arons. I understand you're about to get a divorce and you need the assistance of this court. For what purpose, Ms. Arons? Am I pronouncing your name right?
Arons.
Arons. All right.
The purpose, Your Honor, is the whole entire marriage, through this whole entire thing, he's done nothing but lie to me. He didn't tell me he was going to Korea till 2 days after we got married.
Told you he was going to Korea
Told me
2 days,
2 days
after we got married?
Your Honor, that's not true. I was
What is
driving.
well, hold on a second. You're in the military?
He's military, Your Honor. He's Army.
2 days after marriage, you told your wife you were scheduled to go to Korea.
Your Honor, that's not true. We had a couple weeks before I had to go.
No.
And
she
I
said
didn't,
we got
I didn't
married.
force her. I didn't force her to marry me.
Well, no one
married-
forces anybody to marry them.
You know, she didn't have to, you know, put herself in this position if it was going to hurt herself. I'm not here to hurt anybody.
You made promises to me.
And what promises are those?
You told me that everything was going to be okay. You didn't tell me that you were going to Korea till 2 days after we got married, which, first of all, I'm expecting, okay, I'm going to marry this guy. He's going to be there for me. We're going to have everything, and everything's going to be fine. Then 2 days after we get married, you tell me you're going to Korea. Everything that I had thought before I married you totally got screwed up.
Now, Miss Arons, you married him and thought everything was going to be fine and he's going to be there for me.
I thought he was going to be there financially.
Let me ask you this question.
All right.
Did you know this man was in the Army?
I knew he was in the Army, yes, and I knew that
did
there
you
was...
not know that the Army sends people anywhere they want to send them?
Yes, but I didn't know it was going to be that soon, and I figured that I'd have a chance to at least, you know, reconcile or get into this marriage and
Why
have
did
a
you
chance
figure
with him.
that?
I didn't know he was going to Korea. I figured, okay, I've met a man who's going to be able to financially support me and my 6-year-old, who's going to, you know...
So you had a 6-year-old?
I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old little girl.
And you saw a nice meal ticket?
Yeah, well, I saw something...
You answered it? They usually say the first thing out your mouth is the truth. So,
Yes.
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 All right?
Yes.
And you were so excited about that. Let me just ask you a simple question.
Okay.
What stopped you from asking him, was he going to be sent to another city, another state, or did he have any papers that were sending him away?
Well, Your Honor, I already knew that the military, they do get deployed quite often.
Right.
But I know that, you know, he said, well, those field problems they go to for a month at a time, but not a year. A year in Korea, I'm not going to put my life on hold for a whole year.
Well, suppose it would have happened 4 years into the marriage. Any difference?
No, because then I would have been able to sit there and say, hey, you know, I already know this man, then I can commit myself to him. Since he was leaving so quickly, I already knew that I wasn't going to feel comfortable with him being gone. I already knew that him leaving wasn't going to make, I wasn't going to be able to stay committed. I already knew that in my mind.
Well, Mrs. Arons,
But
when he left, you knew that you weren't going to be able to stay committed. Mm-hmm. Sounds like to me you should have known that before you married a man in the military, because you knew that possibility was always there, that he may be sent away.
See, for a month or so, that's fine.
But you didn't know how long. You never know how long the military is going to send someone away.
Maybe I didn't know enough about the military.
You knew enough to know that he may get sent away, and he had absolutely no control over how long or when. And you saying to yourself you knew that you couldn't be committed. So why'd you marry a military man?
I mean, I could have been committed if I was with him long enough, but just for the 2 weeks. I mean, not telling me till 2 days after and then only being there for another 12 days, then being shipped off to Korea. I didn't have time to get to know my husband. When he was gone for that whole year, I had nobody there for me. I took care of his kids when their mother was sick. I mean, I didn't even get a wedding ring from him, Your Honor. I didn't even have a wedding ring.
She's saying that you didn't tell her until after the marriage.
That is not true. Why would I want to propose to her and then tell her? She knew that I was getting ready to go to Korea.
Maybe you wanted to have somebody back here waiting for you. Why? That's why you did it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Your Honor?
Maybe you said, why would I propose to her knowing that I'm going to the military? I said, maybe it's because you wanted to have someone here waiting for you.
Somebody to take care of all his stuff while he was gone.
Why
No,
does
he's
that
getting
not
you
true,
up,
Your
taking
Honor?
care of
That is
his
not true.
kids.
I fell in love with this woman. And I asked her to marry me for a reason.
And what was that?
Because I fell in love with her. It just happened. I can't explain to people, yes, everything it seemed rushed and stuff like that, but we had just enough time to get feelings out and to do all this. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody.
When did you start dating? How long did you date before you married?
It was probably within 2 to 3 month period,
Oh,
off and on.
excuse me, no. We went on 4 dates.
You
One,
went on
two,
4
three,
dates?
4.
I understand it
Okay,
sounds...
hold on a second. You went on 4 dates.
4 dates.
Over what period of time?
Over like 2 weeks before he asked me to marry him.
So, Ms. Ahrens, don't you bear some responsibility
Yes,
for
I do.
not
Yes,
taking
I do.
control of
but
your life?
I was in a hard position in my life at that time,
And
and
there
I
it
had
goes.
my son that I was raising, and I needed to get up to feet. And I saw a man. He was sincere
Saw a
at the
meal
time,
ticket,
honest.
And you didn't worry about
to be
where
honest,
the meal ticket was going to take you at that time.
To
As
be
long
honest,
as you was going
yeah.
to get
Yeah.
2 weeks, 4 days. So it seems to me that you weren't being real honest with him about why you were marrying him. You weren't in love with him.
He knew.
No, I did
You
not.
knew.
I did
You
not.
knew my
I would not
situation.
ask you. Yes, I knew somewhat of your
Exactly.
situation,
See,
but you knew
see,
some of my
You were
situation.
able to accept that.
So you told him, I don't love you.
I told him I don't love you.
The
Your Honor,
I mean,
that
Your
is
Honor,
not-
look at
Your
us.
Honor,
We're
that
two
is
different
not
people.
true.
He's 5'1". I'm 5'9". I have a pride thing going
And
on
there's
here.
another
Okay.
cheap shot.
I have a pride thing going on here. It's like Sonny and Cher. Did they make it? No.
Oh, here we go. Your Honor.
Oh, now, Ms.
Your Honor,
it's like Sonny and Cher,
Your
did they
Honor.
make it? Don't even make
Look
the
at
comparison.
us. We're totally opposite.
You don't.
Your
Why are you
Honor.
telling me to look at you? You should have looked at him before you married him. Why ask me to look at him? I didn't marry him.
Your Honor.
You didn't know that you was 8 inches taller than him when you married him?
I didn't think much of it. I thought, okay, he's a sweet guy. I can deal with this. It's, you know, it's kind of like the inner beauty. You know, never judge a book by its cover. That's how I was feeling.
So why are you judging the book by the cover now and saying, look at us,
he's
we're 8
lied
inches
to me
apart?
the whole entire time.
What have I
said
lied to you about?
In October.
What did I lie
In
to you about?
October, who called me up saying, you help me pay $400? Will you help me pay $400
Out of my
child support?
check.
Yeah, no, out of my money. That
Out of
came
my
out of my
check.
money. No,
You
I didn't have access
Stop
to a
the
check.
bickering.
Your Honor.
No, he didn't. He may not have told you he was going to Korea 2 days after the wedding. But
wasn't
Ms.
after.
Ahrens, I'm just going to be blunt with you. You knew what you were getting into, and you knew that there was a possibility that you'd be left alone.
When divorce court returns, Laya breaks down as she testifies about her kids.
I was having problems going with custody with my daughter, trying to take care of his kids, trying to survive financially, him lying to me.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. Divorce Court is back in the case of Laya Ahrens, who is divorcing her husband Barry because she says he's too short, too obnoxious, and she doesn't love him.
So you ready for the marriage to end? He's back now.
Yeah, he's back now, but everything that's gone through with the marriage. Okay, first of all, Your Honor, like I said, in October, he had called me up and asked me to pay $400 because his ex-wife was calling me, harassing me.
His ex-wife was calling you? Did you know he had an ex-wife?
Yeah, I knew he had an ex-wife, but I didn't know she was the
Did
way
you know
she
he
is.
had kids?
Yeah, I knew he had 2 kids.
So
I
did
met
you know
his
there's a
kids.
possibility he would have to pay support to somebody else?
Yes, but I didn't know he was in back child support. He
Didn't ask
had
him that
missed
either.
2 months of child support. His ex-wife
Your
kept
Honor,
calling
I can
me.
explain
His
all-
ex-wife kept calling
Hold
me.
on a second.
And told me to pay he called me up and asked me, will you pay this for me? And I said, yes, I'll pay the $400 child support for you. And I took it out of my son's money that I had saved up for him and
What
paid
did you
that
do with
child
my
support for
check?
him.
Wait a minute,
I
you
didn't have access to your bank account until November, so don't even go there.
So in October,
No, Your Honor.
Don't even go there.
Before I left to Korea, I had everything arranged for her. She had my house, she had the car, she had everything. She
had
was
a bank
on my
account, too?
account. She
I
was
was
on my
not.
account.
He didn't
She
put me on
had
his
an
account till
ATM
November, Your
card.
Honor.
She had full
Prove it.
access.
So
he
didn't
left
put me
her an
on his account
ATM
till November.
card and the bank. She was on the bank account
If
before you went to Korea.
If she wasn't on my account by November, I left to Korea in September. I had to have her on my account because they don't do transactions overseas.
Korea's a day ahead of us, so he's able to get the money out before I am.
Your Honor.
So
Your
now
Honor.
you're saying he took the money
Your
out once he
Honor.
put it in.
No,
Your
no.
Honor.
But what happens is the bank, it gets transacted to the bank from the
Right.
military, so
I
he doesn't
understand
get an
direct
actual
deposit.
check. Yeah, it goes direct deposit.
That's what he
so
said.
So he had an ATM card, and when I'd go in to get money, I'd barely have enough to survive.
Excuse me, Your
So
Honor.
you're saying the money went to the bank account, but he would withdraw it over in Korea?
Your Honor,
Yes.
that is
and he
false.
couldn't tell me where the money was coming, where
Your
it was
Honor,
going.
I did not try to put her in a position to, you know, oh, here you go, and I'm going to give you a crappy life. That is not true at all. I fell in love with this woman. I love this woman with all my heart and soul.
And you still
if
love
she
her, don't
can't,
you?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. If she can't see how much I do love her, I got all these letters. I did not screw around. I went to Korea. I did my job. I wrote her what I was doing. I told her how much I loved her. I did everything I could do to try to give her, you know, a good life.
I took care of his kids when his wife was sick, okay? I had problems. I had custody battle with my daughter, okay? And I was having problems going with custody with my daughter, trying to take care of his kids, trying to survive financially, him lying to me.
What did I lie to you about?
Telling his ex-wife that he made a mistake by marrying me. He thinks I'm crazy and he should have married me.
That's
telling
not
his
true
kids
at
not
all.
to talk to
Your
me.
Honor, that
Well,
is
I'm trying
not
to
true
find
at
out
all.
the money that you paid out. Did you ever get it back out of the account?
No, what, the money that I paid, the $400? No,
Yes.
I did. Well, I mean, I got it to pay for food and gas and everything else in the car and to pay the phone bill and the cable bill, but I
But
never
you
had
never
any
got
money back
reimbursed the
to give.
$400.
Yeah.
Your Honor, yes, granted, things happen. You know, it seemed fast and everything like that, but I did fall in love with her, and I love her still. I love her as we speak right
You
now.
love me.
Miss
You wouldn't have
Arns-
left me with all these responsibilities, creditors calling me, telling me that I
Listen.
owe them money because you didn't pay
Listen.
off loans before you went to Korea.
Listen, you have
You
loans
love me,
too.
you wouldn't, if no.
You have bills too.
And what I had to do, I had to file bankruptcy.
Well,
Huh.
Well, Miss
listen.
Arns, it sounds like you
Who's
just...
got the bills? You do.
We all have bills.
No, but he
That's-
leaves them with me. Doesn't tell me about any of these, Your Honor. None of them. He didn't tell me about none of them.
You know,
I
What
have these
about, and
people
you said
harassing
something
me. I
about
have
his
ex-wife
children?
yes.
What about his children?
His children. His ex-wife, she's always sick and always laying on the couch and lazy. Strictly lazy, does not take care of those kids. Me thinking I'm going to stay with this man, decide, you know, agree to watch over these kids during
So the
certain
kids came
times.
to live with you?
No, they didn't come to live with me. They'd come over for like 5-6 days at a time, every other weekend, whatever. Majority of their time would be with me because their mother was laying on the couch being lazy.
So you have to take care of his children, too?
Yes, I
How
took
many
care of
children?
his kids. He had 2.
What does that have to do with the $1,000 or whatever amount of money? What amount of money are you talking about
Your
that you spent
Honor,
on the kids?
I have an itemized statement right here of what I figure that he owes me. $400 paid for the child support. Also, I estimate taking them to indoor play places, ice skating, lakes, circuses, and I bought him Christmas and birthday presents when he didn't. I'd tell the kids that they were from his pa. They'd complain, why hasn't Papa sent me a birthday present, blah, 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 blah. I'd have to tell them that the present was from him. I went out with my own money and
So
bought
what's the
these
total
gifts.
you want back for that?
Well, I'd say about around $100 for the clothing I bought for the kids when their mother didn't send them with any. $200 I'm asking for, activities $100, $200 for the clothing, and around $300 for the care that I provided for those kids.
So you think he should reimburse you for taking care of his children?
Yes, I do.
What are those envelopes you have?
these are my letters, Your Honor,
My letters.
that I wrote to her while I was in Korea.
So
It's my
maybe both of
heart
you
and
wrote letters to
soul.
each other, did
We
you
did.
not?
It's
Your
like
Honor.
this is part of, I mean, this is the whole relationship. This is what I've been
Exactly.
doing
Nobody
in
else is
Korea.
going to see it because they're going back to me. They're mine.
So those are letters that you wrote to her
Yes.
and letters that she wrote to you?
No.
Oh, they're all letters you wrote to her?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you have them? If you wrote them to her?
I had them in a little letter holder at the house, and he took them one day. I was on the phone, and I looked over, and the letters were gone.
Why didn't you have her letters?
Because they are the relationship. They're from, you know, what I wrote to her. My feelings, everything.
Did you send them to her?
Yes, I did,
Are
Your
they
Honor.
addressed to her?
Yes, they are, Your Honor.
So now why are they in your possession?
Because I took them.
And you think you're entitled to them?
Why would she want something that she doesn't even have any feelings or anything like that? Why did she want them?
I don't know why she wants them, but you addressed them to her. You wrote them to her. But I do have a question from Ms. Arns. Why do you want them?
Your Honor, there's a lot of stuff in the letters. Intimacy, a lot of intimate moments. There's stuff about what I did to him.
Oh, letters
In
that he
March.
wrote describing conduct?
In March, what I had done in the relationship.
You don't have to describe it. I'll be back and I'll take a break and make a decision.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict.
You saw a beautiful woman. But you didn't look at the big picture.
And an update on the case of Elizabeth Leyva versus Richard Leyva.
Oh, he thinks he's Mr. Macho Man.
She liked to talk about our sex life with her family.
Richard, shut up. I'm going to belt you in the mouth in a minute.
Oh, no, you're not.
Divorce Court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce Court is back and the verdict is in the case of Laya Arens, who is divorcing her husband Barry after only a year because she says she never loved him.
This case is really interesting because of the fact that it just shows us how two people marry without thinking about what they're doing and without thinking about the persons that they're marrying and the circumstances and looking at the big picture. Based upon your statements, Ms. Arens, all you really saw and all you really paid attention to was the fact that you were going to get some support and assistance with your 6-year-old child, and that was, interesting to you, and that's where you were in your life at that point. You needed the help. And you saw a man that was willing to provide it, and you accepted it. But you didn't look at the big picture. You, too, have to look at the big picture. You saw a beautiful woman, but you didn't look at the big picture. Will this woman be loyal? Will she be faithful? Will she be committed? Can I stand it, being away from her, etc.? That's what marriage is, not a fling, not lust, not excited over somebody's bodies. Bodies fade. And you don't take care of somebody's children and say, I love them, and then say, but I want to be reimbursed for the money I spent on them. You were willing to allow Mr. Arens to spend his money on you and your child, which was not his child, but you didn't want to spend yours on his children. That's not fair. Not at all. Again, part of that big picture. They're going to come over sometimes. I'm going to have to take them out, spend some money on them. I'm not going to reimburse you for that. Now, the money for the child support is a different story. She has no obligation to pay your child support from a previous relationship. That's your responsibility. What the court's going to order, Mr. Arens, is for you to reimburse Mrs. Arens $300 for the support money she paid to your ex-wife. The love letters. I suggest the letters should be destroyed.
As long as
you have a
they're not
problem
in
with
his hands.
that?
No, as long as they're not in his hands, Your Honor.
Get the letters, Joe, please. Mr. Arens, you're going to be mad at me now. In about a year or two, you're going to call me up and thank me because you don't want to keep reading those letters to be reminded of the pain. That's the order of the court. Court's adjourned.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
When Divorce Court returns, an update on the case of Elizabeth Leyva versus Richard Leyva.
Why do you say it's not your child?
She told me that she has another boyfriend and it might be some other guys.
Closed captioning for Divorce Court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. And now for an update on a previous case in Divorce Court. Richard and Elizabeth's marriage was in trouble almost from the start, and things only got worse when their families got involved.
Oh, he thinks he's Mr. Macho Man.
She liked to talk about our sex life with her family.
Richard, shut up. I'm going to belt you in the mouth in a minute.
Oh, no, you're not.
I never seen a marriage like this in my whole life.
That's the big problem is the relationship is all you nosy folks getting into their affair. It's not your case. It's not your life. Get out of it.
And Richard claimed that he wasn't sure if he was the father of Elizabeth's unborn child.
Why do you say it's not your child?
She told me that she has another boyfriend and it might be some other guys.
Richard and Elizabeth had come to Divorce Court because both desperately wanted to be given custody of their expensive vacuum cleaner.
Did you go down the street with a vacuum cleaner?
No, he did. I followed behind with the cord wrapped around my leg.
What's the point of carrying the vacuum cleaner out of the house?
Vacuum cleaner was mine. I just gave her a car. We traded a car for a vacuum cleaner.
The judge agreed with Richard that he had compensated Elizabeth by giving her a car during the marriage. As Elizabeth's due date draws near, she says that Richard has said he will fight for custody of the child no matter what a paternity test shows.
I feel upset. To be honest, I didn't want the letters destroyed. I really wanted to have him in my possession, but that's okay.
There's real feelings. We're people. We love each other. It's just that, you know, there's a lot of anger right now, a lot of frustrations, a lot of confusion.
Just, I mean, the fact that he took him from me in the first place is what made me want him back. Kind of like a strength thing, you know, power.
I think we can work things out. I really do.
No, I would never get back with him, ever. It's over.
I just feel in my heart that we can work things out. This isn't the end of the world.
I'll never get married again. I made a mistake.